fifth graders, we're going to read a book together today, and this book is about Ruby Bridges, and it's actually written by Ruby Bridges, so let's take a look. Ruby Bridges, this is your time, and she's speaking to you guys. To the young peacemakers of America, 60 years ago in 1960, my life, Ruby Bridges, changed forever. Although I was not aware of it, our nation was changing too. What I remember about that time through my 6-year-old eyes, keep that in mind, she was 6 at the time, is that there was extreme unrest, much like we see today. I was chosen, Ruby Bridges, to be the first Black child to go to an all-white school, William Franz Elementary, in my hometown, New Orleans, Louisiana. There she is, she's 6. Didn't volunteer, she was chosen. I did not yet know that I'd stepped into the history books. There she is. For my whole first grade year, I had to be escorted to and from school by 4 federal marshals. Can you even imagine, guys? 4 federal marshals under the order of the President of the United States because people were afraid of my safety. Look at her there, guys. Going into and coming out of school every day, I walk through crowds of people yelling, screaming threats, throwing things at 6-year-old me. Put yourself in her shoes right now, guys. They were against the integration of Black and white children in the same school. Integrate, go like this, integrate. Black and white children are being integrated. Before they were segregated, now they're integrated by law. I'd been so excited to meet and make new friends at school and was met with something utterly different and terrifying. It was a difficult decision for both of my parents to agree to let me go to school, along with the marshals, especially for my dad, but they knew it was necessary. My father, like most dads, wanted nothing more than to protect his little girl. But as a young Black man, it was not safe for him to walk me to school. Not even her own dad can take her to school at this point. It's not safe. So here's her 4 federal agents bringing her, escorting her to school. My father loved me more than I would ever know, and I felt that he was my very own hero. Remember, we're talking about heroes this week, guys. He was also a real hero, having received a Purple Heart for bravery while serving overseas in the Korean War. But he didn't return to a hero's welcome. There was little work given to young Black men back then. There he is. When I arrived at this all-white school that first day, all the white parents rushed in and pulled out their kids. They didn't want their children going to school with me, but why? I didn't understand. They'd never met or even seen me before now, so how could they know what kind of person I was? But none of that mattered. I don't think they even saw a child. All they saw was the color of my skin. I was Black, and that meant I didn't matter. Some teachers even quit their jobs because they didn't want to teach Black children. My teacher, Barbara Henry, came all the way from Boston to teach me. For the entire year, she sat alone with me in that classroom and taught me everything I needed to know. She really made school fun. We never missed a day that whole year. We knew we had to be at school for each other. There they are. I felt safe and loved, and that was because of Mrs. Henry, who, by the way, looked exactly like the women in that screaming mob outside. But she wasn't like them. She showed me her heart, and even at 6 years old, I knew she was different. Barbara Henry was white and I was Black, and we mattered to each other. She became my best friend. I knew that if I got safely past the angry crowd outside and into my classroom, I was going to have a good day. There they are now. Outside of that classroom, the world seemed a very violent place. I later learned that these people in the mob had hatred toward me solely because of the color of my skin. I thought often of the lessons of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who gave his life trying to teach us to judge people not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, who they are on the inside. Truly, these people didn't agree with him. There's a picture we've seen before, the March on Washington and Dr. MLK Jr. here. Our elders said back then that if Black folks really wanted to see change, they had to step up to the plate and do it themselves. Somebody had to be first, but because I was first, my father was fired from his job. So even though laws passed for schools to be integrated, There was a lot of segregation in restrooms, as you see, and restaurants, and in buses and jobs. Over the last 25 years, I've had the honor of meeting so many of you in person in our schools as I've traveled across the country and around the world. In your faces and through our interactions, I've seen innocence, love, respect, kindness, and sometimes even sadness. Here she is. She goes around to elementary schools and talks to kids. I recall once meeting little Megan, who said that I was truly her hero and that because I'm so brave, she had to be brave like me. She had to seek help because her father was abusing her mom. Megan is truly a testament to bravery in the midst of sadness. Children standing up for what they believe in. And young Ryan, who explained how we're all the same, just like his puppy Rex. His golden retriever is strong and fast and does awesome tricks, and he loves it more than anything. Jimmy, Ryan's best friend, has a collie that is black with white spots. It's not quite as fast as Ryan's dog, but it's smarter. Jimmy loves his dog too. Yes, the dogs are different, but they're both loved. Both are just dogs, the same. I see that as a true expression of love and respect. Another time I met Vay, who said we are all like a bag of M&Ms, different on the outside, but the same on the inside. Gotta love those M&Ms. I've not witnessed hatred or bigotry when I've looked into your young eyes. She's speaking to you guys. Regardless of what you look like or where you came from, I saw some of my 6-year-old self in you. You do not care about the color of each other's skin. And I've loved seeing that because I see hope, hope that most people don't get a chance to see. And I thank you for sharing that. Now, this is part of the Black Lives Matter movement where children are participating in marches across the country. I've been saying for many years how I believe racism is a grown-up disease and we adults must stop using you, our kids, to spread it. None of you is born into the world racist. It's we adults who pass racism on. And so in many ways, we failed you by not setting the example you deserve. These are wise words from Ruby Bridges herself, guys. I've always believed it is our role as grown-ups to guide, lead, and teach our children to see the best example, set the best example, just as you must do as you grow up. As I've watched events unfold over the many years, and especially since May of 2020 last year, I'm reminded of the strength and resilience of young people. I agonize over the horrific violence we see over and over against Black people. When I think about how great this country could be, America, land of the free, home of the brave, I think about what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said about being great. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. That's right. We've seen that quote before, 5th graders. Let's continue in streets across America, even now, and beyond, all across the world. I'm so inspired by you and by everyone out there making change happen, she says. I know, and you must remember what can inspire tomorrow often lies in our past, guys. That's why we talk about these things in our past. We can learn from them. May my past, my story inspire you, she says. The first steps toward change are never easy, but 6-year-old Ruby Bridges taught us that it's necessary to take those steps. There she is. So brave. Don't be afraid. She says, this is your time in history. Keep your eyes on the prize and at all costs, stay united.